All right, welcome to Insecurity. We are still in Las Vegas, obviously, and a man who, I feel like I don't even need to introduce you, but if you just joined Cybersecurity at the beginning of this video, this is Jack Daniel. I feel like I should just kind of get out of the way, but what got you out of bed this morning? What brings you to Vegas?
This is the 10-year anniversary of Security BSides. This is the 11th BSides Las Vegas. This is the 533rd BSides globally since we did what we thought was a one-off event 10 years ago. 160 cities and 47 countries have hosted BSides thus far.
And it started here.
And it started here in late July of 2009. And we didn't think we were changing the world, but apparently we sort of did. And so, we're here with 3,000 plus of our closest friends. And, pro tip, you might not believe it, but a polyester three-piece suit with a wool top hat is perfect for August in Las Vegas.
And the beard to maximize airflow to the neck.
But so that's what got me. That's why I'm here in Vegas right now. But it's it's good, and it's fun being here because we get a lot of new people in BSides. People that come into the industry. I've met a couple of friends here that I met a few years ago. Who's were one in particular. She was in college when we first met, and she was like, I don't know, I really like this. I like this hacking thing. I like this industry. I don't know if I fit. She leads a team of people doing assessments and pen tests now. And 3 years ago she was still in college. And we hear those stories all the time at BSides, and that's why it's worth getting out at 5:30 to run over to Nedco to try to find some electronic adapter things. But that's it. We had Bob Lord do our keynote today, and Bob was at Twitter 10 years ago when Twitter was still cool. Before the politicians got on.
So cynical, man.
Before the politicians got on. But anyway, and BSides actually came out of conversations on Twitter. But
now, one thing you guys do, I say you guys, I've been here enough now, I want to say we, but the mentoring program, I think, is a key part of BSides in that, like you say, there's a lot of new people, but it doesn't necessarily mean young people.
Right. No, people enter the industry. I mean, some of us have been doing it for a little while, came in. I'm a displaced auto mechanic. Dan Gear did not get a degree in the cybers. Dan came in, so a lot of folks have been in it, and other people are, transitioning. Our economy is changing, and some people that have the right kind of curiosity and intellect and patience and drive are transitioning from all sorts of different roles. And our mentorship track is, if you haven't spoken at a big conference before, we put you together with somebody who has. You do a shorter talk, a half talk basically, but you work over your content and your presentation with an experienced speaker. You present it here, it's recorded, it's streamed, and so you get to practice, and you work on your skills. And in the process, you make friendships, you meet other people who are new at this, and you meet experienced people who are trying to help you. And we really build up the community and build up people's skill sets. And, speaking of skill sets, for years we've done a 2-day career track. And it's not just recruiting. I mean, there are recruiters in there, but it's about career planning, career advancement, career development, and possibly your next job, too. I mean, the recruiters want you to find your next job, but they also, everybody that participates wants people to have long, healthy careers in the industry. And so that's, another one of the things that we do. I think that's amazing. And just a ton of diverse amount of amazing content. CISO track for the first time this year. Lots of training, big capture the flag, all sorts of cool stuff. It's fantastic.
Now, we are supposed to be an industry chock full of cynical bastards, but I cannot help but hear maybe a note of optimism in your voice.
Yeah, one of the things, I recently with a friend of mine started a podcast. The world has too many podcasts, so we decided the thing to do was add one more.
We have exactly enough. Now that Jack is here, we have exactly enough.
And so in Security Voices, we've talked to people like Noah Carr and Chenxi Wang and Ping Li and Gary McGraw and Mark Curfey and all sorts of amazing people. And we've had conversations about, what it's like to be a CISO, what it's like to work, the security at Azure, what it's like to found companies, invest in this industry. And one of the stock questions we have at the end, we ask a handful of questions like who's on your Rolodex, for those of us old enough to remember a Rolodex. Who do you call when you need to phone a friend? What have you read recently that's changed your perspective? One of the questions I love is, it's really easy to be cynical and everything's bad, especially this week when There, here and at the other conferences, there's a lot of, I found a way to break this thing, right? I found a way to, and a lot of stories of breaches. But we always ask, what are you optimistic about? And what's really amazing is we've asked everybody what they're optimistic about, and every single person has, without hesitation, come up with something to be optimistic about. And there's no overlap. It's not like everybody is saying two-factor auth is finally starting to make inroads. It's like, that was one of them.
Yeah.
But, we're starting to understand that usability is important. We're starting to understand that we have to go beyond simple risk-based security. We're starting to understand how much we need to understand our industry and our company to secure it well, right? We're learning a lot of lessons, but it's fantastic to be able to talk to people who build companies, who work at companies, who defend organizations, who invest in companies and start them up, all come up with different things to be optimistic about. And the reality is, we've got a lot of challenges. A lot of things. It's fun to make fun of Windows, but making fun of Windows is so 1999.
Well, it's like making fun of oxygen. I mean, it's there. It can't be denied.
The core OS has gotten so much stronger. It's not perfect, but we have moved a lot of those vulnerabilities into the application layer, and we're working on that. But we're also learning that with the speed of deployment of modern development, we have an opportunity to fix things faster. If you push out one major update a year and a bug is found the day after you update, it's a year before you update. If you commit code continuously, or more realistically, weekly or monthly for a lot of smaller organizations, that means the patch cycle is shorter. You can get stuff out, you can push that patch out, and it's not buried in a big release. That's just one example of the things that have happened. So there's reason for optimism, and it's fun to break stuff. That's why we're here, right? We're breaking stuff. Yeah. But it's not all bad. It's not as bad as it seems. It's really easy to get lost in it. You talk to people who are like, yeah, we do this thing. We've had success with this. And I think part of that really comes down to a lot of people are sharing what works and what doesn't. And that's taken a long time, and folks like New School, Showstack and Workman and Hutton, that has been beating the drum of, we got to share the ideas, and maybe some of it's NDA, but there are things we can share. The more we share, the better off we are. Sharing is caring. Not to end on a kumbaya moment, but sharing is caring, and we're doing that better now.
Well, show the world you care. Share with them. Tell us about where the podcast is, where you are, all the cool information.
So the podcast is Security Voices, securityvoices.org. It's on, we've got about 15, 16 episodes out. There's going to be a greatest hits episode, hopefully this week, which will be just a short one since we're all in Vegas. And we'll have clips of some of those optimistic pieces. Securityvoices.org, your podcatcher of choice. And, you can find me on that internet thing, Jack_Daniel on Twitter. I'm at Tenable. I've been at Tenable for 8 years now, and they want me to do this kind of thing to make the community stronger because we're not an engineering startup anymore, but we're still an engineering company, and we love the community that built our company and everybody else. That's one of the great things about BSides too, is you'll find a lot of sponsors who are competitors, and they're hanging out together. Because, sometimes in sales it's hard to do that. For those of us that aren't on the sales side, who understands your battle better if you're selling firewalls to the mid-market than somebody else selling firewalls? And so the friendships are just amazing.
Well, yeah, how about if instead of looking at the competition as the enemy, we all get together and look at the bad guys as the enemy?
Yeah. That's a crazy idea. We should
Optimism.
Work together. Optimism.
I'm totally infected.
Yeah, all right. Good stuff, man.
Hey, I'm never going to give away the secret to a good suit like this, but let's just say they are available if you are looking for one, but we're not going to tell you where. Jack, you've got worlds to save, so we're going to get out of your way. You can always find us at ThreatVector.Cylance.com, at Cylance Inc., and at BlackBerry. I am Matt Stephenson. You'll find me at PacMatt73. I'm not even going to top that, but we're going to see if we can find somebody maybe almost as cool.